Alright, so this is Bombhouse skip, and casually, what you're supposed to do is go over here, this bug goes into this house, and you're supposed to go in the house, set it on fire, and blow it up. It's this long cutscene. But basically, if you kill the bug before it goes in, the game just kind of assumes you already did that whole sequence, and it lets you collect the tears immediately. So this big blue thing is the trigger for the bug. Basically how it works is we make a jump over here, and once we go in this trigger, we're pretty close to where the bug is, allowing us to kill it in time. So it's possible to cross this gap as either wolf or human. The wolf version is a little bit faster and a little bit harder, and it's the one I'm going to be talking about in this video. It's possible on both the GameCube and Wii version. On Wii, it's almost exactly the same, except there's two small differences that I'm going to mention at the end of the video. The first thing to note is that you don't want to hold right directly out of the load zone. You want to see how Link kind of like settles there when he gets out. You want to wait for him to settle before holding right, and that will put you in the right position every time. If you hold right out of the load zone, Wolf Link will be slightly more to the right, and that's going to cause this to happen. Or either that or just like bonking in there. And you don't want that, so wait for Wolf Link to settle first, then go over here, and then you'll be able to do the side hops and get in the right spot. Alright, so once you're up here, you're going to want to do 2 side hops. I like to flick the stick like so for the side hops, just because it feels like my position is a little bit more consistent, in my opinion, but you can also just hold left. One thing to note in this game is that as Wolf, you cannot do a 1-frame side hop, typically. You see I try to hold left and A on the same frame, it's going to make me jump attack. So we have to be holding left for at least 1 frame before doing the side hop, to actually get a side hop out. Anyway, so next up is the jump attack. Something to note here is that as he lands, you can see Wolf Link like gets up, and in that getting up animation, you can see he like goes a little bit more forward. And this is important because if we side hop too early, after doing that, it'll mess our position up. So we want to wait for him to fully get up first, and then do the side hop and jump attack. And the same principle is going on here with Wolf Link going forward after landing, except this time we don't want him to go forward. So we can prevent that by holding ESS down on the control stick during the jump. So for this part, we're going to have to adjust backwards a little bit. There's a couple different cues you can use for this. The one I like to use is Wolf Link's back left paw. See this like nubby part right here? If it's right underneath the railing, then that's a good spot. So now we're going to set our angle and see up. The visual cue I like to use on GameCube is you see this fence post right here? I want the left of the screen to have one more width of fence post to the left of it, if that makes sense. So like this is about as far left as you can go without touching the trigger. And like this is about as far left. This should be about as far right as you can go. If you go too far left, then you're gonna hit the trigger. And if you go too far right, you're gonna miss the jump. So for this part, what I like to do is press A once to get out of C up, and then hold forward and press A at the same time, like that. And it's important that you press them at the same time. If A is too early or too late, then you won't get the dash. Another thing I see people do is they hold up during C up, and then they just press A twice to get a jump. That's another way of doing it. Another thing worth mentioning is that you have to hold forward for the entire jump. If you don't, then this might happen. You fall down like that. So you want to be holding forward the whole time. Alright, so there's a few ways to do this part. Easiest way is to just climb here, and then walk into the trigger. I like to do a dash cancel, change my angle, and then do a jump attack. So like this. And then walk into the trigger, and then mid to charge the bug. The fastest way to do it is to just dash kind of around. You can kind of go over that seam like right here. So the fastest way to do it is go like this. But it is a little risky, so I don't go for it personally. So for this part, I like to dash over the sign, run senses, minute charge, and when I minute charge, I wait for a little bit, and then I go for it. And once the bug is well within the radius, then I release. You do have to be a little bit mindful, because if you do get too close, it won't work, and that will happen. So that's why I like going by the sign first. So after killing this bug, I like to wait just a second before going in, You don't have to wait that long, just a little bit. That's kind of cutting it a little bit close. I would normally wait like that much. Be safe. You can go in the house too early, and that is bad. That's worse than not even attempting Bombhouse skip. You don't want that to happen. So for this part, what I like to do is hold upright, and when I see Midna fall on Link's back, then I just press L and A to do a jump attack. So just like this. Just like that. You don't want to mash A while holding L, because then you have to wait while Link falls, or while Midna falls in your back. So it's better to just go like this. Just like that. Also, it is a little bit faster to do side hops here. Although in my opinion it's slightly more awkward, so I don't go for it. Something to be careful of is, do you see that blue polygon right here? The blue is ceiling collision, and you gotta be careful, because if Wolf Link intersects with ceiling collision, then he'll void out. So if you go right here, for example, you're gonna void. Just something to be careful of. So I'm just gonna go over the differences on Wii real quick. I'm not really sure why this is the case, but even if you wait for Link to settle before holding left, he won't be in the right spot. He'll be too far left. So on Wii, what I do is I hold right for a few frames before side hopping, and that gets me in the right spot. It's really not that precise, just something to know. Then the side hops and jump attacks are the same. And then for the angle, the same visual cue isn't going to work. So what I like to do is, you see this little white dot right here, and you see the C button icon. What I like to do is hold left until it overlaps about half of it. So like, that's pretty good. This is too much, and then this is not enough. So I like to go like right about here, and then it should work every time. And then after that, it's the same as GameCube. But yeah, I'm just going to show it one more time in full speed. This trick isn't like as complicated or difficult as I made it sound, but I wanted to be as objective as I could. And there's a lot of nuance that I wanted to touch on. So yeah, I hope this is helpful to anyone who needs it.